I'm gonna try and explain how I build my basking areas, since I need to make one more. Um, First thing you need to do is make this ramp part here. This is the swivel ramp, pivotable ramp. And once you get that, the rest of the pieces become a lot easier to manage. So once you can make this piece, you can understand what the length of the pieces need to be for the whole ramp. The whole basking area. So this length from here to there, once you've mashed it in, is the same length as all the other pieces. The width can be whatever you want it to be. And then you have your 4 underlegs right here. Then these hold up the top. I'll try and explain it as we go, but I'll make this piece, hammer it in so it's nice and snug, and then I'll cut the length pieces for the rest of it, and you'll see. So here I've hammered everything in so it's nice and snug in there, and from here to here will determine your other 3 pieces of PVC, and that determines the length of the basking area. So we'll be cutting pieces that are the same length as this piece here, and then we can put the elbows in. We have hammered these in too, and these are the spacers between the top platform and the sleeping platform underneath. Alright, so we can see here we have 3 more length pieces here. They're the same length as this ramp here. 2 pieces for the width, and then 4 legs. We're going to basically connect these platforms together like so. Once you get them in pretty deep, then you can hammer them in, and then you can adjust whether it's true or not by placing them down like this and making sure that both this piece and this piece lay flat. And when you do that, it's basically straight. So we'll do that with these 4 pieces here, and then we'll come back. This here is the basic layout of what it's going to look like. And then we take each of the long pieces, 2 long pieces underneath, 1 in the back, and then the ramp in the front, and then the 2 width pieces, and then we'll put the leg height underneath to extend it up. Here are the 2 pieces. Once the widths have been put in, it's going to go like this. You want to make sure that it's mostly straight by placing it on something flat and adjusting it before you knock it in. And you can look inside the hole here that you can see the PVC is already seated all the way in. Once it's in that deep, it's pretty hard to rotate it or anything, so make sure it's correct before you do that. Alright, so here is one of those side pieces here. We put the 3 long pieces in and the ramp in the front here. This is going to be like this. We want the ramp in the front. Then we can put this last piece over top these. And then we can put the legs in. Fairly simple. Now we just attach the leg pieces in here. And once we knock those in, the basic frame structure is done. Then comes the egg crate. This is the frame completed. Now we just got to get through the egg crate. Place 1 platform here, one here, and one down here. Then we'll have to drill some holes in here so air can get released, and water down here too, as water can get trapped inside this loop here. Broke up pieces to make it the size of this platform here. It'll fit in there like that. Then we just zip tie it all around. Get back to you when all of it's done. Oh yeah, when you break it, it's a huge mess, so you know, try to keep clean. When you start zip tying these pieces together, make sure you do it very loosely at first so that you can adjust, because sometimes if you tighten it too much on one side, there'll be a huge gap on this side over here, and so on. So you kind of want to center it as best you can and slowly tighten each piece so that you can get it centered. And then when you do have it all tightened up, you still don't want to go too tight, as it could break the egg crate here. And then when you cut this little end piece off, there'll be this little box here that's like got a really sharp tag here from the cut. You want to try to cut it as close as you can and move it into the box so that none of the sharp pieces are pointed outwards that could hurt your turtle, and they'll just be inside the plastic. Here it is completed. Altogether it took about an hour to make, from just pieces to now. There's a couple things I need to do left. Just screw some holes in the top to release air as I'm putting it down, or air will get trapped in. Some holes underneath here, and now we can go check and see what it looks like in the baby's enclosure. There it is in the baby enclosure. I want to get them used to basking on PVC and Eggcrate, so that whenever they see it, they'll just go and start basking, because most of my enclosures have it. It's quite nice though. So now I have 3. This one's slightly smaller, and the ones that were in here I had actually made smaller because there wasn't enough room. Let me try and explain. So before, these used to extend all the way out to the wall on both sides, and because there's a leg here underneath the water, anytime they would try to swim along the wall, they would get caught because there was a leg there stopping them. So I shortened these pieces and the long ones that go all the way across, and that made the entire thing shorter. So now they can swim all around the sides here, over there, and around the back. Then they have their little sleeping area over there still, which is great. Oh look, Homura. She's so tame. Maybe next year she'll start producing some eggs, but we'll see. There was another design that I was working on, but don't know how I want it to go yet. Let me prepare that real quick. So this here was one of my prototype designs, and basically what I wanted was a hang on the side basking area. And the reason why I wanted this was, just like in this tank over here, how there's legs that come down that they can actually run into, I wanted there to be no legs so it doesn't impede too much of their swimming space. And I still wanted there to be a basking area, so right here would be the basking area and it goes down to the ramp, and then there would still be a sleeping area here underneath the water. But when I was making this, I had made a couple mistakes. So initially this was supposed to be for the baby tank, but because this is the pump is down there on the baby tank, and it pumps into the filter and it comes down here. The water level is much higher on this side than it is over there. Also, the garage, what's the word? It's higher over there than it is over here, so the water level gets slightly higher as it comes down. But it looks like it would fit in this tank, but I'm not sure if I want to keep turtles in this side. I'm not sure just yet. And this is this tank. I was thinking perhaps keeping some fish in here and some plants, but I'm not sure. There's also, this is how much flow comes out. That's the flow rate of the filter. Right now it's not completely fluidized, but we'll get there eventually with time. Soon enough.